first. I mean, what do you think about marriage? I mean, it's a little biased, I guess, since now we just got married. But what are your thoughts on it? I guess I could start it off by saying that a lot of people today, especially a lot of men, say there's really no value in marriage today because why get married? Like what benefit is it to me as a man? So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have a lot of things. So I take marriage very seriously, but I don't come from like a religious background in that sense. I just always viewed it as like, I'm going to think really hard about this decision because I only really want to do it once.
Right.
That's not to say that if I had made a mistake, I wouldn't get married again, when I was younger. But, I really wanted to do it once. So I think that's also what kept me single even when I was younger, is because I'm like, is this person the one? No, I don't know. And I would even ask people, I'd be like, what is, yeah, how do you know? Yeah. And then they'd be like, you just know. And I'm like, that doesn't feel like it really helps, but it is true in fact. But yeah, so I think it's a very serious thing. I think that it takes a lot of information from dating and from who you are, who you want to be, how you guys coexist together, and a whole bunch of different, dynamics. You have to talk about parenting before you're even parents. You have to talk about, finances. You have to talk about those things at a certain point to make sure that you can go through all that stuff, because it's a really big deal, obviously.
So the question is then why do it? Why do it? Is it worth doing today?
I think since it is a serious thing in my mind, I think that it's the ultimate, level of devotion to somebody. It's the ultimate level of commitment. And if you do care about this person to spend the rest of your life with, why are you so afraid to make it legal? Which I understand that men are afraid of their money, which I get, and some women are afraid of their money too. It goes both ways. But, it comes down to if you're afraid to lose your money to get a divorce, should you even get married? It goes back to those questions you need to ask, right? If you're that afraid that this person might, spend all your money or cheat on you or whatever, ends up causing a divorce.
Divorce you and then take half of your money. I think that's the fear that most men have. And then take your kids and you not see your kids again.
If you are getting to that point, though, did you not vet this person well enough?
Right.
And to be honest, I think that women probably vet a little harder than men might,
Yeah, I think that's true. I think biologically that's true. I mean, from a evolutionary biology perspective, women have to carry a baby for 9 months. So their investment of picking the wrong man is much higher consequence. The guy picks the wrong girl, it doesn't matter.
He can just spread his seed where he would like. But so I'm saying I feel like girls typically do it a little bit more, but it's not guys should be doing it too, because it would also erase this fear to some degree of what if she divorces me and takes all my money? If you vetted the person. Right.
But then a lot of people change, right? They seem to be one, especially what a common complaint that guys say in marriage. And I'm kind of playing the devil's advocate because, I mean, I do.
Because you're a guy.
Right. Well, but is the complaint is that a woman will change once she has commitment. And I think there's some validity to that claim by a lot of guys. In a lot of cases, that does end up becoming the case. Now, I have some reasons why I think that ends up becoming the case, which is not just because a woman just changes. But a lot of guys are correct in saying that once a woman has commitment, and especially they say when she becomes married, that things change. She changes.
Well, I'm interested. How does a woman change? Typically, I know one way. But I feel like that could be a whole nother episode here. Yeah. But are you saying the guy feels like he doesn't change and just she changes, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that again, not from firsthand experience, but from the stories I've heard from a lot of guys complaining about this topic, is that they would say that she changes from like where she is very sweet and kind to the guy and respects him to taking him for granted. I wouldn't even say taking him for granted. That's more of female language. That's what a woman would say. But more of like now disrespecting him, nagging him, treating him like he's an annoyance, and not having sex with him, right? Not having a lower desire for. Those are probably the chief complaints, I would say.
Okay. I mean, here's how I look at it that could be happening potentially. I think that most people, when they're dating and even before they're married, they're almost on their best behavior.
Right.
And so it is kind of normal for a dynamic to change when a couple gets like comfortable with each other, but it still shouldn't be like nagging or anything like that. But I think that also too, when people get married, they're like, oh, well, now I don't have to like dress up, or I don't have to like take her on dates anymore.
Right.
And so it's like you're taking away those things that were there when you were like seriously dating and up until you got married, and those things kind of go out the window. Because I mean, I'm sure other people have, watched other videos on the internet of, couples saying that the key is to like still date each other type of thing, because that's what keeps the feelings the same, because you're still, going out and doing fun things and you appreciate each other and things like that. And so, but there's a lot to what you just said, because she also could be like resenting him for some things, and they're not communicating.
And that builds up over time.
Right.
Because a lot of guys don't know how to handle a woman's emotions.
Yeah.
They try to logic it.
Yeah.
She feels like her emotions aren't validated. That stacks up over time to the resentment gets to the point of nagging and I think that is true. But I mean, that still even begs the question of why go through all that? Like, why deal with that?
Well,
from a man's perspective,
marriage is becoming one, right?
Right.
Like, and I'm not saying you have to have that in order to like be one. Like, you don't have to get married to be one. Because to be honest, when we got married, it felt the same. Yeah, because it's like I also feel like sometimes, and it's more so the woman's perspective, I would say, is that like women sometimes just want a wedding. Yeah. Like they just want to find somebody to get married. And then like it's all sunshine and rainbows until she gets to where she wanted to go. And then now there's no more shiny things unless she has like a baby, that's like it's height of a woman's life a lot of the time. So like I understand where men probably wouldn't see being married as like a big deal. It is more like a woman's thing, but I still think that like something about like becoming one in all the ways that you can become one, that's like, because when you legally get married, you're also taking on things from your partner, like financially and things like that. And so it's like someone is trusting you to this level to like literally become one in all the ways.
Right.
And it does make things easier, like health wise, like if something happens, they go straight to you. They're not going to be like, when I was single, be like, who do I call her
but
parents?
I mean, that's a pretty weak argument for like,
I mean, it's less planning.
it is true, but